Hey there guys, welcome back to another deck profile with yours truly, Paul Raceman. Today we are going to be going over Gareth Edwards' Red Alice list using Pricia, the dangerous duelist. Without further ado, let's jump right into things.
This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for products, and FoulLibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists,
as well as our guest lecturer members King Pearlshine, Vite Ramen, Mognite, and Darren Noblock.
Class is in session.
Alright everyone, so let's talk about Order Alice. Now, if you've been playing the game for a while and you were around when this card came out, you know exactly what she does, but unless you don't, she's one of the Order rulers that came out during Duel Cluster. So when she enters, after you've ordered something, when she enters, choose an attribute. If you don't control a regalia with that attribute, you put a token of that regalia type into the field and then you draw a card. That is huge on its own. And the reason is because drawing an additional card in Force of Will maintains your tempo, and it maintains you seeing new cards, new tools, all of these other things. That's pretty standard for most card games, but especially in an Alice deck like this one, it's really, really powerful, and it's worth your time to consider how important that is for your deck, right? Then this gives your ordered card +X+X. For every regalia that you have on the field, you get one additional 100 worth of points, which is really nice. Then you may call a Magic Stone while this card is not rested, which is really helpful to maintain your tempo as well. That's pretty standard on all of the Order rulers that we have in this cluster. So then we move on to Pricia, and we played her a little incorrectly during our game, so just be aware of that. This is when she does damage instead of just when she attacks, but we played it a little bit differently, right? So she naturally has Swiftness, Precision, and Pierce, which is insane, right? So she can attack anything on the board, she is going to deal damage, and she's going to be able to attack whenever she wants, essentially. That's basically what all of those words mean, right? But when she's ordered, she gets even crazier. So when she enters, and whenever she deals battle damage to your opponent, right? Not their resonators, but to your opponent, choose X times from the following at random, where X is the number of regalia you control. So if you have 4 regalia, you choose at random 4 different instances of these different effects. Now, for those of you who are aware that I am the random guy, I really love the de-randomization mechanics of Olivia. Just be aware, it's been ruled that each one of these different de-randomizations is considered its own like loop of randomization, right? So if you have 4 randomizations, Dolly will count for one of those, right? So you would need 4 Dollies on the field to de-randomize all of those, and that's just not a thing. You might as well just roll them at random anyway. You're looking at 2 really beneficial effects in general, right? So the first option you can roll is dealing 500 damage to your opponent, and the second one is 500 damage to each J resonator your opponent controls. Relevant, very relevant. And then she also gives fire regalia you control. Tap this card, it deals 500 damage to target player or J resonator. Why you can target yourself, I'm not entirely sure, but that is something you can do with her effects. This card is insane and scary, right? So just be aware of her just being very, very, very scary. This is the whole point of Gareth's deck, which I think is really fun. We got these promos, and he's like, I just want to try these, and that's the best way of going into locals. I just want to try these cards. Let's do that. He's also playing 3 Dark Alice and Mott. She is a villains, however, if your ruler is Alice, you can play her anyway, so that's the best part. She's really good for a mid-range play if your opponent is able to control the field and kind of, you know, slow roll your effects and, you know, prevent your Pricia from getting on the field. She's really good at picking apart their hand and making it very hard for them to fight back. So just be aware, Dark Alice is really good for that. He's also playing a couple of Ray Aznable because he can. He's on 3. He's playing a little bit of a control package, but I think that's totally fine. He's playing things like Ruler's Memoria and Ragnarok's Fiery Stone and Moonshade. I mean, all of these are pretty accessible stones. for a locals player. So playing Reasonable, it's pretty decent, especially if you're buying BR kits and you happen to crack a few of these. These are really helpful. You're also playing 4 Regalia Beast. This is also a really solid card for a tempo deck like Alice. You want to be able to play something that is a Regalia as soon as you possibly can, because you do have Ruler's Memoria. And so, yeah, that's why he's also playing like a ton of like Excalibur, Horn, and then Gleipnir as well for additional draw. Regalia Beast is really helpful because it not only produces will for the color that you want, it can also become the color of Regalia you need for something like Pricia or even for Dark Alice to use their additional effects. Dark Alice, by the way, has Darkness Regalia, can tap for -6/-6 to target J Resonator this turn, which is very fun. He's playing a couple of Ascendant to ramp into more stones, which I think is totally fine in a red deck. He's playing a little bit of Reach with Last Secret Sword, some Destruction, and some Disruption with Killua Fossil Girl in the City, 4 Deep Blue Soldier for getting additional Regalia and ordering on 1 if you do not have something like your Regalia Beast, or even if you don't have something like Pricia in hand. This is just a really good card to order in order to get that stuff moving and create Regalia for yourself. He's playing 4 Flashing Smile. Good card is good. I mentioned the Regalia already, and then I realized the list he gave me only had 37 cards. And so it made sense to me to just put even in just a little more aggression with the 3 Tea Party members. He's already playing things like Regalia Beast, which can be recovered with that card. So I think this is just a naturally really strong card to put in the deck in addition to all of that. And then I mentioned the Magic Stones already. So he's playing 4 Ruler's Memoria. He's going to want to see an early game Regalia, or else it's going to feel bad. He also wants to see Ragnarok Stone in case he doesn't have something to order. Again, if you're just looking for another 5-color stone, this is a pretty decent one at the locals level. Then he's playing 4 Moonshade, which again is also pretty affordable. So guys, if you are intrigued by this deck, I know that I am. I was actually really invested in maybe even making a version of this for myself just to kind of goof around with and have fun with. It just looks fun. It's your off-the-trail Red Alice deck, which I think is really, really fun. So guys, let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Are you intrigued in other Alice decks that are not the standard stuff like Control or Play an Ayu and Swing sort of decks? Or are you thinking of other kinds of decks you would like to see being played that use Alice as a ruler? Let us know down in the comment section down below. Hit subscribe, ring that bell if you want more content like this in the future. And until next time, guys, this has been Paul saying class is dismissed.